What's poppin', people? PTC here, bringing you guys our first ever Raw review here on the channel. This channel will be a very broad spectrum of reviews for me. I can do some movie reviews, video game reviews, Monday Night Raw slash WWE pay-per-view event reviews, as well as anime reviews. So make sure that you keep an eye out for everything that's going to happen on the channel. There's going to be a lot of stuff going up here. I do have another channel. It will be linked down in the description below. I have just started this whole YouTube thing on that other channel as well as this one. So I really decided that I wanted to do a channel dedicated to making reviews, and this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I wanted to start out with a Raw review because Raw was last night, and I really thought that it was a good time for me to just kind of, I don't know, jump out and start reviewing Raw, and I'm really kind of excited about jumping into this Raw because it was a pretty good show, and it's really interesting because a lot of the recent Raws have been pretty lackluster. I wouldn't necessarily blame it on Kane or Seth Rollins. I would blame it on weird booking decisions by creative. By the way, this is all out of kayfabe. I think you guys get that already. But anyway, I think the weird booking decisions lately have kind of led to me tuning out of Raw a little bit. Not necessarily not watching it, but kind of being in and out when I do watch it. But this one had me fairly entertained throughout, which is something. So we're going to jump right in. I've got notes here that I took, and we're going to start just at the very beginning of Raw and work our way through it. Raw opened up with a 3-4 minute segment reviewing what happened last week, which I think is just not something that they should be doing. I think that if you missed last week, then you missed last week, and you should have to watch it every week in order to fully grasp the storylines. They shouldn't just run it back and be like, oh, you weren't here last week? Well, here you go. We'll show you exactly what happened. That way, it makes it feel like you don't have to watch every week because everything important that happened will be run down again. So to me, that just seems like kind of a silly thing for WWE to do, but they do it, and you know, I just don't agree with it. Next up, we had a Paul Heyman Brock Lesnar segment. It was announced that Brock Lesnar would be at Monday Night Raw a couple of hours, or maybe a day before. I didn't really care. I've failed to care about Brock Lesnar coming back because when he comes back, he doesn't wrestle. He just stands there and he lets Paul Heyman talk, which is great. Paul Heyman is great. Paul Heyman is the best mic that they have in the business right now. However, him just standing there and talking isn't really something that draws me. And it might draw other people just to see Lesnar stand in the ring and jump around, but it doesn't draw me. And obviously, you know, he had just got finished wrestling the Big Show at Madison Square Garden, which was just a glorified squash match. And I just, you know, it just wasn't for me. I didn't enjoy that match. I haven't really enjoyed Brock in a while. The last time I enjoyed Brock was Bo Dallas because it was something fresh. Bo Dallas was funny. It was different, and I really liked it. And I was hoping, and shout-outs to It's 21 Blackjack on Twitter. Go follow him. It's a shameless shout-out. He's a Raw reviewer as well. Him and Wise and now have a show, and they review Raw as well. So go check those guys out once you're finished here. But in a previous review, he said that he would rather Bo Dallas take on Lesnar at Madison Square and then have Brock suplex Bo Dallas to death and then leave. And then Bo Dallas could create a persona saying, I beat the Conqueror, Brock Lesnar. And that would be really cool. That would have been a really cool place to take Bo Dallas because it gives him something to talk about. Because as a heel, especially one that requires so heavily, or relies so heavily, I should say, on his promo work, he really needs something to talk about, and he doesn't have anything right now. And that's why we haven't seen Bo Dallas, because there's not much for him to do, which is sad because this industry, this business right now is in desperate need of a good heel. They don't have any good heels. Seth Rollins is not a good heel because a lot of people like Seth Rollins. At least I do. I personally like Seth Rollins. Now, obviously, his character is not one that you're supposed to like, and I don't really like his character as the sniveling, you know, conniving heel. I wish they'd have given him something different. But as a performer and as a wrestler himself, I love Seth Rollins. He's great at what he does. So for me, there's no good heels right now. They've built Bray Wyatt to the point where he's not even a good heel. Kevin Owens, they buried him with Cena, so he's not a good heel. It's tough because Kevin Owens is the best heel in the business, but he's in a feud with Ryback, who doesn't really do much work. I mean, he doesn't really do good promo work. He doesn't really do good in-ring work. He's entertaining, I guess, when he beats people up, but that's all he can do. So anyway, the Lesnar thing wasn't really a draw for me. Paul Heyman delivered a great promo here. He pretty much said, Undertaker says that this is his match, but that's not true. Brock is going to go in there and beat his ass, which he did a long time ago. Not even a long time ago. It was probably like 2002, I think, when Lesnar and Undertaker had a Hell in a Cell match, and Lesnar beat him. Obviously, he didn't squash him, but he did beat him. And they're not going to mention that for whatever reason. I think it would be smart, but they're not going to do it, so, I can't say much about it. That's just another missed opportunity, I guess, for the WWE. However, I enjoyed Heyman's promo, but it got a little long-winded because Raw always starts with a long 13 to 20-minute promo, and it's just kind of getting old to me. And the reason that they do this, and here's why they do this so much, is because they don't have enough star power to open up the show with a match, and they don't build enough stories to open up shows with matches and say, all right, we're jumping right in with this storyline, because they don't have many storylines to build off of. But, that's just one thing. They showed us a replay of Brock and Undertaker at WrestleMania like we're stupid and we don't remember how he beat him at WrestleMania 30. That was just kind of off to me, how Brock and Heyman are standing in the middle of the ring and we're supposed to watch the Jumbotron instead of them entertaining us in the ring. I don't know. To me, it just felt a little off. I didn't really appreciate it too much. It was another Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman promo, and it was fine. It opened the show nicely. It got a little long-winded, but at the same time, it was a good, solid Paul Heyman promo, as all of them are. So, out of 10, I would rate this segment a 6 or a 7. I'd say 6.5. And it's not anything to do with Heyman, and it's not anything to do with Lesnar. It's to do with WWE continuously giving us promos to open shows. Now, I didn't even finish the segment. I just gave it a rating. But also what dragged the rating down to me was the entrance of the Big Show. About 13 or 14 minutes in, I think the Big Show came out, and people chanted about him being slow. They chanted, please retire. However faint it might have been, they chanted, please retire. And I feel bad for the Big Show. I really do, because he can still go as a threat and as a big giant like they had him against Lesnar. He can still do that. Even though he's slow, he's huge. If you book him as a threat, he can be a threat. No matter how many people hate him, he can be your big, scary, threatening heel. They just don't book him that way. And another thing that frustrated me is that they buried Cesaro to have the Big Show lose at a house show to Brock Lesnar. And that just didn't make much sense to me. So the Big Show comes out. He says, I was this close to beating you. And it's like, no, you weren't. You weren't that close. That's insane. You're insane for thinking that. By the way, also they showed another flashback to 2 months ago. Sorry, I'm watching it now to make sure I don't forget anything that might have happened. And they showed another flashback to SummerSlam 2 months ago. So that's twice they did that. So that was really annoying and really stupid, and I didn't like it at all. However, Big Show comes out. He talks all that shit, and he's just, saying, I could have beaten you. Puts his hand out. Brock walks right past him. I wish Brock would have, patted him on the back and said, good job, champ. But he didn't. I mean, it would have been something. But obviously, it was nothing. And the Big Show gets suplexed a couple of times in F5, and then it's over. So the segment ends. I believe the segment ended with Big Show just laying in the middle of the ring, and that's how it ended. So there was that. So the segment, like I said, 6.5 out of 10. I didn't really get invested in it because I can't really get invested in Brock Taker anymore. It's happened twice. Brock is decidedly better at this point in his career, obviously, than Taker. It's hard for me to suspend my disbelief when Brock is in the prime of his career. I know that's kind of weird to say prime of his career, but I feel like he is, because even when he was young and on a tear, he's still that same guy now. Nothing's really changed. He can still go, he can still wrestle, he can still do all the things he needs to do. So Brock is pretty much in the prime of his career right now, and Undertaker is not. So it's hard for me to suspend my disbelief and say the Undertaker can beat Brock Lesnar clean. And if he does at Hell in a Cell, which I'm anticipating him to do, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. So there's that. I just I feel like it's kind of just a meh build up to what's gonna be a meh match, in my opinion. Next up, we had one of the weirdest decisions of the night to me. We had a six-man tag team match between the Wyatt family and the Shield plus Randy Orton, basically, which is Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, and Braun Strowman, who was fantastic in this match. I think Braun Strowman is probably the best thing to happen to the main roster in a long time. Not because he's great in the ring, not because he's great on the mic. I think that Braun Strowman's great because he gives Bray Wyatt the amount of fear that he needed behind him. People need to be afraid of the Wyatt family again. Because the way that they've booked Bray, who's afraid of Bray anymore? If Bray comes out, who's afraid of him? Nobody. Because Bray doesn't do anything anymore. Bray just gets beat up and takes losses now. And it all started, of course, with the John Cena feud at WrestleMania. If he wins that feud, things change dramatically in the landscape of the WWE. Bray Wyatt is now a monster heel who has all the credibility in the world, but now it's just kind of like, why do we care about Bray at all? And they've tried to build him back up with the Roman Reigns feud, but to me, it just hasn't worked. I've liked bits and pieces of this, but I haven't liked the whole thing. I love Braun Strowman being with him because I think that it's helping build him back. I think it's helping, but I don't necessarily think it's gotten him there. So this match was a pretty straightforward, what you'd expect out of Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt match. I mean, it was pretty physical throughout. Randy Orton was there, I guess, just for the pop of the fans, just to get the rub to Reigns. I don't even remember a lot about this match, to be honest. It wasn't bad, but it was kind of boring until like the very end. Everybody comes in, they do their signatures and finishers and whatnot, and then it's pretty much just over. And it was just kind of like, it could have been better. To me, it could have been much better. But that leads me to my biggest problem with this match is why in God's name is it happening? Why are we every single week pinning Roman Reigns against Bray? We're giving away something for free that you should want to sell a pay-per-view on. This is a main event caliber match with two main event caliber performers, but we're giving it on Raw every single week, and I don't understand why. Because there's no real reason to be giving away Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt for free. Not to mention giving away Roman Reigns and the Wyatt family. It's almost like giving away the Shield versus the Wyatts for free, which I think they did back when the Shield and the Wyatts were huge. It just doesn't make any logical sense to me. The way this match ended was everybody kind of went on the outside and did their thing. Braun Strowman never hit the ground once. He went to a knee. That was a big selling point. The commentary really, really tried to sell that. And they did a good job selling Braun Strowman. They really did. So Braun kind of gets beat up a little bit. Ambrose jumps from the apron and lands on Braun Strowman, and he doesn't go down. So that was cool. It was a cool spot. I really hate Braun Strowman's name. I wish he had a better name. I wish he didn't even have a name. I wish he was just the black sheep. And I wish he never talked. Those are two complaints I have of Braun Strowman. Other than that, the guy's massive. He's great. I wish his face didn't look like a little boy. But there's some things you just can't change in this world, and that's one of them. So, for me, this was a good match. It was a good, solid match. I was really entertained for the most part. The beginning was kind of boring and, generic beginning wrestling match. But as it went on, it was a lot better. One complaint I have about Roman Reigns and Bray is that they fight like they're not in a feud. They wrestle each other like they're just two guys that have no history, no past, and they just fight each other. That needs to change. Roman has to do some things different. Bray has to do some things different. And they both have to just act like they're in a feud and remind people, hey, we're actually feuding. This is a fight between me and this guy, and we're fighting for a reason. There's a reason behind this. Now, the reason might be kind of obscure now, but it started out with Roman Reigns' family. And Bray is just kind of, he was attacking Roman Reigns, and he was, making threats on Reigns as his daughter, and it just kind of turned into... Now Bray has this new guy and Roman needs Dean. and it's just kind of evolved into beer drinking buddies versus the Wyatt family. And I don't really appreciate how it's stretched on this long. I think it could have ended a long time ago. However, I think they're doing a good job in the ring to make it work. Last week on Raw, it was great. The brawling outside, that was perfect. This week, it was just kind of lackluster as far as just, the aggression that I wanted to see. However, Roman Reigns does pick up a clean pin over Luke Harper, who his character has taken a massive, massive shot because of Braun Strowman and because of how they've booked him. His character has just fallen off, and I feel so bad because Luke Harper, in my opinion, is one of the best one of the best workers in the ring, in the company. Luke Harper's fantastic. So for me, for them to kind of just shit all over Luke Harper, it really sucks. Because I really thought Luke Harper, I really liked him, and I really thought that after he got out of the Wyatt family, he could do some things. As still being the creepy, big, eerie, almost henchman-like character. He doesn't talk much. He doesn't really show any emotion or personality. He just goes in, he kicks somebody's ass, and then he leaves. That they could have made Luke Harper a very viable heel or even a face, but they decided to just kind of squander him in the IC picture and all that, nonsense. And it was just kind of, I don't know. I feel like Luke Harper's character's taking a huge hit. Now, one thing I forgot to mention about the segment before is right after Seth Rollins and Stephanie had a little tiny segment. It was a baby segment. The only reason I remember it is because it's playing on my TV right now. Basically, Seth goes, I can't fight the Dudley Boys because it was announced that the Dudley Boys and the Dudley Boys will be fighting Seth and Big Show. And he's like, well, I can't fight the Dudley Boys now. Brock Lesnar just killed the Big Show. And then Stephanie's like, well, find somebody. And he's like, oh, okay, I will. I'll find somebody. At this point, I was thinking, New Day rocks. New Day rocks. But, of course, that's not what happens. So that's a little stupid. But, whatever. Because I thought since Seth and New Day had a segment a few weeks ago, maybe he would go back to him. But, of course, there's no such thing as longevity or logic in the WWE Universe. It's just a bunch of shit thrown together because fuck you, you're stupid. Anyway, next up, I forgot to give that one a rating. We have the six-man tag team match. I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. Pretty good match. It was solid. There was nothing spectacular or really special about it. It was just a six-man tag team match, which we've seen countless times on Raw as a six-man tag team match, and that's what we got. And, I wasn't upset with it. I wasn't mad at it. It was just a normal six-man tag team match. Nothing special, nothing different. That's what it was. So 7.5 out of 10, just because the people that were in the match are good in-ring workers. Randy, Dean, Roman has gotten a lot better. The Wyatts are great. Braun Strowman's obviously not the best in-ring guy, but he's still, a really solid guy to have in the match just because he's so big. So 7.5 out of 10 for me. It was okay. I mean, I can't get angry with it. I can't get upset with it. It was just a match, and I feel like it should never have happened because you should never, ever have let Reigns get this close to Bray. Not throughout the whole feud. You should never have let Reigns get this close to Bray. Like, they should have never touched each other until pay-per-views. Pay-per-views should have been the only time that they fought each other. And to me, it just kind of frustrates me a little bit. But anyway, next up, we have a Sheamus promo. We actually got to hear Sheamus today, and I was fine with this. I was actually fine with Sheamus coming out with a microphone and talking a little bit because he doesn't really talk a lot. We don't get to see his personality much, and I really appreciated not necessarily the devotion to letting him, I don't know. I feel like I'm not using the right word, but I didn't necessarily think that they were like devoting their time to him per se, but I really did appreciate the fact that he was actually getting to talk, which is something we don't see a lot from him unless he's in the ring screaming, or you're not entertained, in which case we're mostly not entertained. But that's beside the point. I appreciated Sheamus' promo. I thought Sheamus' promo was nice. To Neville, I was really okay with this. I thought the promo was good. I thought that he attacked Neville in all the right places. And Neville looked strong as a face when he, started beating him up and stuff like that. And I thought that was great. I thought Neville was fantastic in this. Also, I forgot to mention Bad News Barrett's on commentary. It's pretty important for the end. I don't know if they were supposed to necessarily have a match, or if Sheamus just came out per se. But I feel like they were supposed to have a match, and Sheamus just came out and acted like a dick, which is exactly what happened. Sheamus just acted like a dick. Neville got him into the corner and beat him up. And then some weird things happened, and it ruined it for me. Essentially, Neville got squashed. And Neville getting squashed is not something you want, because Neville, to me, is the future of the WWE, along with a lot of the guys that bring up from NXT. They're the future guys of this business. And to have him squashed by Sheamus, who, personally, for me, hasn't really done anything since he won Money in the Bank. He's beaten Randy Orton a couple of times, but, in the same token, in the same breath, he hasn't done much. So to squash Neville seemed like a strange decision. Bo Dallas? Sure. Have Sheamus go out and shit on Bo Dallas. But Neville, and I know that that's kind of a double standard because Bo Dallas is the future, in my opinion, as well, but you're not doing anything with Bo Dallas. Neville's in a feud with Stardust. Neville's actually doing something. So to have him just get squashed, it loses his credibility a little bit, and that was just stupid. They could have used anybody else. Heath Slater would have been fine. Zack Ryder would have been fine. But you take somebody who's trying to get over, he's in the process of getting over, and you squash him in under a minute, it just doesn't make a lot of booking sense to me. And that just frustrated me a little bit. I was kind of annoyed by that. Now, obviously, I don't know. Obviously, they're going a direction with Sheamus in which they're trying to build him to be a monster heel. I feel like that's what they're trying to do. So hopefully they continue on that path. I don't think Sheamus is that bad. I think his ring work is kind of boring, but I don't necessarily think that he's that bad. I don't know. I just feel like they could have used somebody else. The way the match was won was Neville was beating up Sheamus in the corner. The ref kept pulling him off, which I don't know why. It's supposed to be a fight. It's supposed to be a wrestling match. You shouldn't pull people off when they're fighting, because that's just going to give the other guy an advantage, and you're basically cheating even though you're the referee, which doesn't make much sense. But that's the way the referees work in the WWE. They don't make any sense at all. And Neville gets distracted by Wade Barrett somehow, or Bad News Barrett, or King Barrett, or whatever Barrett he's deciding to be tonight. Neville gets distracted. I wish that they would have made it a little more prominent that Neville got distracted from Barrett. They did say it after the match and show Barrett walk up to the ring, but I wish Barrett would have jumped up to the apron. That would have been better, for him to jump up to the apron and start yelling at Neville, and then Neville get beat. That's something, but he was just kind of down there. Neville had no reason to look at him. There was no reason for Neville to turn and look at him, but he did, and Sheamus capitalized, hit him with a brogue kick, and that was the match. And it was a squash, and I was upset because Neville didn't deserve to get squashed like that. But I don't know. I don't know. I was a little disappointed, but at the same time, what can I expect? It's WWE. Next, I'd give that one, I don't know, a 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10. And the only points that I'm giving it are Sheamus' promo and Neville's attack afterwards. I thought it made Neville look strong, and then they just squashed him, so it was kind of stupid. It didn't make much sense. So, anyway, next up on the card, we had a Kane, Seth Rollins, and Stephanie McMahon promo. So, I knew that we couldn't go the whole night without a long-winded Authority promo, and here it was. They hit you right, I believe, at the end of the first hour. Yeah, it was pretty much the main event of the first hour, which doesn't speak kindly to the first hour. The first hour was a good first hour because the six-man tag team match was solid. But then you had this, and it was kind of just like, I feel like a lot of people let out a collective sigh. And I feel like Kane is getting a bad rap here, and I feel like a lot of people are going to hate on Kane, and they really shouldn't, because I think Kane has done a good job. I think Kane has done a good job, if not a great job, at trying to build this feud. To me. And I think he's doing all he can do. I think that the booking has been okay. I think that they're doing a good job with the split personality thing. I think that's pretty funny. I think they've done a nice job of making Kane the babyface here. Even though later in the night, the Dudley Boys, it was kind of weird. But anyway, I think it's funny because Kane, he said something about a poster in his office, and he started it out pretty normal, and then he kind of went crazy, and it just showed the split personality thing. And he said that was the poster that was hanging in my office, and he just kind of let out a smile, and that was really funny. It was a really good moment, and I thought it was really good. I thought it was really funny, which is rare because the WWE usually isn't that funny. So that was nice. The whole promo, it was long-winded. It was boring. I don't know. I'm trying my best to get involved and get invested in Seth and Kane, but it's really, really hard to do because they're just not top-level stars anymore. Kane is not a top-level star anymore. So for him to be in the title picture, I don't like it. But that is reflected upon WWE not building enough new stars. They are not building enough babyface stars because the only babyface star that they have is John Cena. And that is an issue over a long, long list of booking mistakes and decisions that could have been different. There are a lot of ways that Cena could have made some more stars, but has gone over instead, which is a topic that I will bring up another time and probably just make a rant video about the long John Cena, shit list where he just kills everybody. But that won't be tonight. That'll be another night. So, for lack of babyface stars, Seth Rollins is now taking on Kane for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, which I also hate. I wish that there were still 2 belts. I wish that there were still 2 brands. And I wish that, because if there's 2 brands, you can create stars on another brand, and it really helps. However, WWE is deciding we'll just do Raw, and that's it. That's all people will care about. So instead of creating 2 separate brands for people to care about, which they technically have now with NXT, which would be 3, they have 1 or 2. So basically, Kane comes out and he says, Seth, I know you don't have a partner. I can be your partner. And then Seth comes out and he's like, whoa, no, I don't want to be partners with you. You're just like Tom Brady or something. I don't know why exactly he brought Tom Brady up, because they're in Boston. Obviously, he was going to do it, but it didn't really make much sense to me when he said it. He said old and deflated balls. I thought that was kind of forced. Stephanie comes out because apparently she's the world's biggest Patriots fan, which, I apparently didn't know about. And she basically says, the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl again with Tom Brady. You're the heel. I'm apparently a face now. And you can go to hell and you can be in this match with Kane. Kane, if you can tape up your ankle and you can go, then you can be in the tag team match. And Seth, you can't bitch and complain about it because fuck you. I'm a face now. So, essentially, Stephanie catered to the crowd with the Patriots thing. She essentially turned face, which has been kind of a slow burn for her. And it's been kind of a slower burn for Triple H because we haven't seen him a lot. And he still backs Seth. And I think that that's a really cool dynamic to maybe have Steph and Triple H kind of against each other with the Seth thing would be a cool dynamic. But I don't know. And she basically said, Kane, if you don't win at Hell in a Cell, then you're going to get relieved of your responsibilities as director of operations. So basically you're fired, which I don't believe. I think that he'll still come back as the Demon Kane and wrestle some, and I think that'll be good for Kane. I think that maybe stepping out of a limelight role would be good for him, because people are kind of sick of seeing him in Big Show. It's just the way it is. However, I do wish this match was in a Hell in a Cell. I realize they've already got 2 cell matches, which is Wyatt and Reigns, which will be great, and they've got Lesnar and Taker, which will be fine. So I realize 3 might be a little much, but I do find myself wishing that was in a cell, because there's no way for Seth to DQ himself. There's no way for Seth to run away. Seth has to fight and has to be great. because Seth is great, and I wish they would have booked him differently. I wish they would have made him more of a angry, self-absorbed, I'm the best in the world at what I do, almost CM Punk-ish heel, when CM Punk was I'm the best in the world, even though he really wasn't a heel. I wish they would have made Seth that way, because right now Seth is the best at what he does. I think he's probably the best in the world. He's definitely up there. And people can say, oh, Seth isn't one of the best wrestlers in the world. You're crazy. I'm not. I think Seth is probably at least top 5 or top 3 best wrestlers in the world. Best performers, best on the mic. Seth does a really, really good job. He's got a shitty character, but he does a great job. So, personally, I wish they would have given him something different. Maybe the I'm the best, you can't beat me kind of heel champion, but they gave him the sniveling, whining champion, and I just think that doesn't fit him as well. He's done a good job with it, but at the same time, it's just kind of getting old. So maybe a face turn would be good, something else. I don't know. I feel like they're not turning him face anytime soon, so I guess I can't really talk about that. But I do wish that something different would happen. Also, one thing I just noticed, the Hell in the Cell poster in the back has The Undertaker and Lesnar standing side by side, right, looking straight ahead, which is fine. But The Undertaker still has hair down to his lower back, and it's like, why can't you just use a picture of The Undertaker from SummerSlam? Take a new picture, use it, and then get on with it. Like, stop making it. It's almost like they're trying to trick people into thinking, oh wow, The Undertaker looks that good, that's going to be a great match. And it kind of bothers me that they're doing that. I wish that they would have a picture of him present day. I feel like that's kind of them trying to trick him. Also, what's weird is the Dean Ambrose poster sitting in the background when they're supposed to hate Dean Ambrose. So all these things are a little weird. The Kane promo, like I said, the Authority promos are Authority promos. I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Kane was kind of funny. Stephanie came out and turned face-ish. And, yeah, that was pretty much it. So 4 out of 10. Kane was funny. Stephanie was okay. Seth was good. But all in all, it's still an Authority promo. And they haven't changed in 2 years. So there's no reason to give it anything higher than a 4. So next up on the card, we have Paige and Natalya, which was... let me look at my notes really quick. Let me see. No, I think this was the best match of the night. I think this was the best match of the night. I don't know, man. That's tough because Roman's match was good, and then that was it. Roman's match was good, and this one. So I think this could potentially be match of the night. It's the best I've seen Paige in a very long time, and it's because she's been working with Natalya now instead of Nikki Bella. And before you guys in the comment section say that I'm a Nikki Bella hater, before you guys say that I'm a Bella hater in general, I dislike Nikki Bella, and I dislike Brie Bella for multiple reasons. I think that they are... I think they're bad wrestlers, and I think that they're bad talkers, and I don't see why they're employed. They don't know whether they're face or heel. They don't wrestle well. Nikki is better than Brie, but Nikki is bad at the same time. There were some bad moments in the Natalya and Paige match, but overall it was believable. It was a believable match. These two looked like they wanted to kick each other's asses, and that was something that I liked. Something that I wanted to see was two people who are fighting. It doesn't have to be women. It doesn't have to be men. It can be any gender, but I just want to see good, solid wrestling with a good story being told, and I thought Paige and Natalya did a really good job. Now, there were some reports that some backstage heat had made Paige lose, and spoilers, Paige lost. I don't want that to be true, because I feel like Natalya needs a big win, because she's coming back after, being away for a while. I think she needed this win, a big win for her and for her character. I was happy with this. I was happy with this match. This was a really good match. It was two women fighting. It was two women, wrestling and doing well. It wasn't wrestling to a spot to get to a spot to get to another spot to get to a spot. This was actually it appeared to be a fight, and that's what I liked. Paige did a great job of being her old self. She got her in a hip stretch and started slamming her head down, like almost like it looked really, really bad. It looked like she was trying to break her neck, and that was great. That was great. I love to see the aggression out of Paige. And Natalya was aggressive. Natalya was throwing haymaker punches, and most of the women don't do that. So for me, this was a very, very, very fresh match, and I think it was because Natalya was in it. I think that it's the women's division has been missing her because she's such a solid in-ring performer. Now, there's one problem I have with Natalya. Her ring attire has to go. It's so bad. First of all, it makes her look like an elf. It makes her look like she's 4'1", which I know she's a short woman, but she's not 4'1". It makes her look shorter than she is. It also doesn't do anything for her body. It makes her look bigger than she is. And I think it looks really bad. I don't like it at all. I just want her to have something else. Anything else works. If she's not comfortable with her body enough to get into like a two-piece thing like Paige, that's fine. But change this. It looks bad. I did not like this. I did not like what she was wearing. It was just bad. It was just bad. So, all in all, the match was really good. There was a lot of aggression, a lot of commentary, pretty much just blah blah blahing about Paige, and I don't know. I kind of tuned out of commentary in this match because usually with the women's matches they're not. They're not good in any match. Never mind. They're awful. Commentary's just bad. But I did like the aggression in this match. I liked the fact that Paige and Natalya were in there working together. I think this was the best Divas match that we've seen throughout the whole Divas Revolution. Quote unquote. I hate that word. I hate that phrase. But if they're gonna call it a Divas Revolution, this was the best match that's happened in it. And I can't think of another one that was better. I really can't. Off the top of my head, I can't think of another one. Obviously, in NXT, that's a different story because every single match that happens on NXT is better than what we've been seeing. At least the bigger matches. But I definitely thought this was the best match that we've seen out of the Divas in a very long time. Or out of the women, I should say, because I hate Divas as well. Out of the women in a very, very long time. And I think it's because Natalya was in it. I really do. I think Natalya did a great job. So, anyway, Paige at one point hit the Paige Turner, which was her finisher move at one point, and Natalya kicked out of it. And I was like, so we're just not going to sell Paige's old finisher anymore? Like, we're just going to completely shit all over that? But, I thought, for all intents and purposes, it was a good match. It was a solid match. Paige did a good job. Natalya did a good job. It was good. It was good. It did what it needed to do, and it was a good match. Natalya won with the sharpshooter, which is what I thought was going to happen. I thought Natalya needed to win here, and she got one, and that was great. And Paige looked like a heel in this, and it was good. There was a point in the match where Natalya picked Paige up and slammed her on her butt, and then ran to the ropes, stomped on her back, and then drop kicked her in the front when she passed her. That's what we want to see out of the women. We don't want to see them doing these stupid-looking slaps or dumb corner things. We want to see them fight, and that looked really cool, and it was just a really cool match to me. I liked it. I liked the match. I really did. I thought it was the best match of the night. Because Natalya can work, and Paige can work. And Paige's in-ring ability has gotten squandered working with some of the divas that can't handle it. And I think Natalya did a great job tonight, and I think Paige did as well. So, that's going to get an 8 out of 10 for me. I really, really liked it. It could have definitely been better. There were some points in it. There were some botches every now and then. Not botches, but some misses. Some punches that were thrown and they weren't hit. Some things like that. But other than that, I thought this was a fantastic match. I thought they all did great. I thought both of them did fantastic. So, 8 out of 10 for me. Next on the card, we have a Ryback promo. And the Ryback promo was weird, forced, and something I didn't really appreciate. So, he pretty much was standing. It reminded me of SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. The intro to SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, where I think it's Lesnar standing in a room full of lights and he's just kind of dancing back and forth. That's pretty much what Ryback did. And I was like, this isn't 2000 3 anymore. And it's not 1980 where he can just scream at the camera and put a good promo out there. I thought it was weird. I thought it was forced. I mean, it was. He didn't mess up because it was pre-recorded, so that's good. But to me, it was just kind of forced. They showed some, vignette of him beating people up, which, is fine. But I think Ryback is just kind of overrated and overpushed, in my opinion. That's just the way it is. So after the Ryback promo, we actually had Kevin Owens versus Sin Cara, which I really enjoyed. I really did. I enjoyed it. I thought Sin Cara botched a couple of his flying moves, which of course he did because he's Sin Cara. He didn't get to the right spot, or Kevin Owens didn't get to the right spot, but they didn't make it look bad. It looked okay, but for the most part, they did a good job. Sin Cara kind of botched a little, but it was fine. So, also, before the match, they showed Ryback wasted his Intercontinental Championship rematch last Thursday on SmackDown, and I was confused. I was like, why would he ever cash in a rematch clause on SmackDown when he knows he could never, ever win on SmackDown? Because it doesn't matter. And they made him look really strong. They made Kevin Owens look weak. He I think, shell-shocked Owens after Owens got counted out. And it just, it was kind of weird to see Kevin Owens just laying there when they're trying to build him up a little bit, but, whatever. So, also, another thing that bothers me with Ryback is the way that he talks. His mouth gets really wide when he speaks, and that really bugs me. It's like, just talk normal, like you normally talk. I know that you don't talk like that. I know that your mouth doesn't do that when you talk, so just don't do that on camera. That looks really bad. Anyway, Kevin Owens, Sin Cara is a pretty forgettable match, but it was an enhancement match. Kevin Owens was meant to look strong, and he did. He was gonna powerbomb Sin Cara, or not Sin Cara. He's gonna powerbomb Kalisto on the outside, and Ryback came out. Kevin Owens ran away. I was fine with that. Didn't bother me. I was fine with that. I thought it made Kevin Owens look good, beating nobody. I thought it made Kevin Owens look like a heel when he ran from Ryback. He, looked like a heel. So, all in all, I think it did what they wanted it to do. It enhanced Kevin Owens by him just squashing some little guy. And I think that they need more of that. To build stars, you have to have them win matches. So I like this. I thought it was good. After this match, we had a New Day quote-unquote segment. The New Day was backstage. It showed Stephanie on her phone, and then Biggie goes, "Oh, Stephanie, don't you dare be sour." And I thought it was funny. I thought it was great. I thought that Stephanie turned heel again when she was being mean to the New Day, because everybody loves the New Day. Most people. I love the New Day. I think they're great. I was one of the people that was against New Day, even when people thought, oh my God, these guys are great. I was still I was indifferent about them. I didn't really care for them. But I have completely pulled a 180. I love the New Day. I think they are the best thing on the show. I think they're the best thing in WWE right now. They truly are. And for her to be mean to them, it's just kind of like, well, Stephanie, you turned face and heel again. You're kind of like the Big Show. But all in all, New Day just went over there and they were like, oh, clap for your tag champs or whatever and feel the power. And essentially, Stephanie said, I saw what you did at Madison Square Garden, which was just, I think they got disqualified. I didn't really care because it's a house show. And she said, well, you are going to have a match against the Dudley Boys at Hell in a Cell. And it's like, well, of course they are. They've had a match with the Dudley Boys for the past, 4 years because they just refuse to build up any other tag teams aside from 2 of them. That's a big problem with WWE is they don't invest enough time in the tag team division. And look at NXT. NXT has they have a tag team tournament going on right now. That's how much time they're investing in the tag team division. WWE can't even put 2 tag team matches on the card with actual tag teams. It just kind of it sucks. But nonetheless, also I forgot to mention in the Kevin Owens match, one thing that I really enjoy about Kevin Owens is his talking in the ring. There were two moments where he pinned Sin Cara, or attempted to pin Sin Cara early in the match. and he pins him, and the ref counts to 1, and Sin Cara kicks out, and he says that was 3. And it just, it was great. It was funny. Then he pins him again after he just punches him in the face. Sin Cara falls down, he pins him again, and then ref counts to 1, and he said that was 3 too. And that is why Kevin Owens is so great, because he knows how to work. Not only knows how to work a mic, not only knows how to work in the ring, but he knows how to talk in his matches and in the ring. He never shuts up, and that's what makes him great in the ring, is because his heel persona never leaves him even during a match. That's what's so great about Kevin Owens. So I just thought I'd throw that little tidbit in there because it was really funny. It was a really good moment for him. I thought it was great. And he always, he kept doing the lucha thing because Kalisto was outside, and that was pretty funny. It was Kevin Owens being Kevin Owens, and it was great. I appreciated it. Hopefully, other people saw it and thought it was funny too, because it was great. I thought it was great. So next up, we have the John Cena cancer segment. Is what I wrote down. I didn't write the cancer segment. I wrote the John Cena cancer segment because everybody else was standing essentially on the ramp, and then there was Cena, and then there was Reigns in the ring with I think like 7 or 8 women who had battled breast cancer. And I thought this was okay. let me say this. I thought this was a really great segment until I saw what CM Punk said about the Susan Corman, I don't know, the Susan Corman thing. Until I saw what Punk said, and then I did some research, and I do think that Punk might be onto something with it being a scam. So I thought it was great until I saw that, and I was like, well, maybe it's not so great. But for them to, they're in the right place. WWE's in the right place. Their heart's in the right place. Maybe they went with the wrong company or wrong corporation or wrong charity or whatever, but I think that they did. I think their heart's in the right place. I think this was a nice segment. It was a nice rub for Roman Reigns. I know that I hate to use these types of segments as rubs for people, but it was a nice rub for Roman Reigns to get out there and do that. And his talking was really, really good. He sounded really good. And I saw somebody on Twitter say compare this Roman Reigns to the Roman Reigns of 2 years ago or last year. And I said, you know what? You're right. Roman Reigns sounded really good in this. I don't know if it's because it wasn't forced, if it was because he was genuine, but I thought it was great. I thought he did a great job with this. So yeah, that was the cancer segment. It was short, sweet. People almost booed John Cena out of the building, but whatever. So I thought it was good. I thought the cancer segment was nice. I thought their heart was in the right place, and I thought Roman Reigns did a good job, and I thought that it was a nice rub for Roman. I want to go back to the Kevin Owens match one more time because I'm continuously watching things right now, and the Kevin Owens match is still going on. And Ryback comes out to make the save. He almost catches Kevin Owens before he gets out of the ring, but Ryback decides not to go out of the ring to chase Owens, and that really bothered me. I knew there was something that I missed, but I couldn't remember what it was, and that was it. Ryback didn't go out of his way to chase Kevin. He just kind of sat in the ring. So it really was, I don't know. It was weird. It was just weird. I didn't really appreciate it. But anyway, the Kevin Owens segment the Kevin Owens match, I would give a 6.5 out of 10. It was solid. Kevin Owens did great. Sin Cara didn't mess up too much. It was good. It was okay. It was, I would say a 7 or 6.5 out of 10. I think that was fine. The New Day segment, I would give an 8 out of 10 because it's New Day, and I thought they were funny. I thought the facial expressions were funny. Xavier picked up the trombone to play it, and Stephanie said, if I hear one note out of that trombone, and I was like, oh. And then Xavier's face, and then at the end, Xavier's face, he was like, I thought she liked this. I thought she liked this. It was just great. New Day's great. New Day's fantastic. Every segment from them is going to get like a 7 or an 8 plus. So, yeah, I thought that was great. The cancer segment, I'm not really going to rate the cancer segment. I thought Reigns did good. I thought it was a nice rub for him, but I can't really rate that as a segment because it was more or less advertising for WWE loving, fighting cancer or something, whatever, Next up, we have the Rollins and Dudley tag match. I don't care about the Dudley boys. I watched the WWE when I was a kid. Until now, I'm 20 years old. I could care less about the Dudley boys. Not because I don't like them. Not because I didn't like them growing up. I could care less about the Dudley boys because they're not that entertaining to me. Now, granted, um, they have their moments, but to me, they're not necessarily that entertaining. And also the fact that they don't really work that well in the ring. They don't really work well anymore. And I don't even think that they worked well before. I think maybe we were just all enamored with them because back then you didn't really have to work well to get over. You just had a great, gimmick. And the Dudley Boys had a great gimmick. And they still have a great gimmick. Get the tables. That's cool. That's fun. But I just don't care. I don't care anymore. I don't care. So the Dudley Boys versus Seth Rollins and Kane, I didn't care. The only thing I was interested in was Seth Rollins and Kane, and that's saying something about how much I don't care about the Dudley Boys. Build a new tag team. Don't rely on having to bring other tag teams back. You're not building new stars. The primetime players, say what you want, but they were kind of hot. People were kind of getting behind them a little bit. I wasn't. I didn't care about the primetime players. I thought that their push was undeserved. I thought Titus O'Neil being Dad of the Year shouldn't have made them tag team champions. However, I think Titus O'Neil deserves a push. I don't think he deserves it with Darren Young because I don't think Darren Young works that good. And it's not because he's gay. It's not because of anything like that. But I just don't see him as a good worker. He's not good on the mic. He's not entertaining. He doesn't have a gimmick. I just didn't like Darren Young at all. I think he needs a gimmick. If he has to be gay, then make him gay. On screen. But his gimmick sucked. He can't talk. He didn't work well. I didn't like him with Titus. I thought having Titus win a title was fine. Have him win the Intercontinental title. Have him beat Cena for the U.S. title and build yourself a star. But of course, the decision was made to give them the tag titles, which, is fine. And their run was fine. New Day made it entertaining. Titus and Titus can work. Even though he's not the best worker, he can still work. New Day's draw is not in the ring. New Day's draw is outside of the ring. Watching New Day in a match, you don't really care about watching them fight. You care about watching them and their antics. That's what's funny about New Day. It's the same with DX. You didn't really care about watching DX fight. You cared about watching DX be DX. Have fun, screw around, mess with people. That was DX. That was what was fun about them, is their antics. Not necessarily their ring work. Now, granted, the ring work from DX was better than New Day's. With Triple H and Shawn and X-Pac was good in his prime. There was a lot of positives with New Day or with DX. With the New Age Outlaws as well. Because I kind of do relate New Day to New Age Outlaws a little bit as well because their antics were similar. I think that New Day doesn't. I think that they're right on par with them. I think they work just as well as the New Age Outlaws. Now, I think that Billy Gunn was amazing. I think that Road Dogg worked good matches sometimes, I guess. But, I think they're right on par with them. I think that saying that they're with DX, I think that as far as popularity and maybe their antics, you could possibly put them in the same sentence. But I don't think you could necessarily say New Day and DX are very similar as far as their in-ring work. I just noticed this. Why is Eva Marie even with the main roster right now? The Rise Above Cancer thing is on right now, and Eva Marie is standing out there in the front row, like in the on stage in front. Like, why? What? Anyway, I don't get why she's traveling with them. She sucks, but we'll get to that, I guess, in an NXT review, which will be Wednesday or Thursday. It'll go up Thursday because NXT Takeover will be Wednesday. So anyway, moving right along, we have to talk about the tag team match, don't we? Oh, damn it. It was boring. I thought Seth and Kane were funny. I thought that Kane tagging himself in and getting his leg kicked around was funny. I thought the way he sold it was fun. Seth Rollins pulling out handcuffs was pretty weird. I didn't know where he got them from. That was pretty strange. Does he just carry around handcuffs all day? I don't know. But the handcuff thing to the ropes was fine. I thought that the handcuffs breaking was a little bit unbelievable. It kind of broke my disbelief. I didn't really believe it because handcuffs don't break like that usually. Most good quality handcuffs I don't think would break if you push somebody off of a ring. However, I thought it was funny. I thought it, did its job. I thought the Dudley Boys were fine in this match. I thought that Bubba was good. He talked a lot. I thought his talking was good because he's a lot like Kevin Owens talking in the ring. That's another thing that I can compare Bubba and Kevin Owens in that regard, is because they do both talk a lot in the ring. Both of them are pretty funny in the ring. Bubba was funny tonight. I actually liked Bubba Ray Dudley tonight. Devon, I always, have a soft spot for Devon because I always liked Devon growing up. I liked Devon over Bubba growing up because I thought Bubba was kind of a dick, which he is, and Devon was kind of the nice guy, and I like Devon, and Devon does a good job too. I just don't care about the Dudleys that much anymore. I mean, they're not interesting to me because their gimmick is old. They're not bringing anything new. They're just the Dudley Boys still, and they're great for the nostalgia purpose, but for them to come back and have a major tag team push, it's just weird. I don't know. I don't know. It's just strange to me. Anyway, the match was pretty generic. It was a Dudley Boys match. They did things, and Seth did things. Seth pretty much carried the whole match because he was in there with a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds, and he's, like 28, 29? So he pretty much carried the whole match. He did a good job. Seth is great. He's a great worker. He can work with anybody. So, Seth did fine in this match. He did things and got over with me anyway, because I always mark out at how good Seth is in the ring, and Seth was great again, as always, in the ring. I don't think he's ever been bad. I've never seen him actually be bad in a WWE ring, or in any ring, if that matters. So I thought Seth was fine. I thought Kane was funny. I thought the Dudley Boys were the Dudley Boys, and that's pretty much what they were. So, anyway, there's a doctor that came out and said that Kane had to go to the back because his leg was messed up, and then Seth said, no, you're not going, and he handcuffed him, and then Seth gets knocked into Kane. Kane falls off the ring. Handcuffs break. Kane gets carried to the back. He turns around and smiles. Thought that was a nice touch. Comes back out as Demon Kane, and comes back out to essentially attack Seth Rollins. And then the Dudley Boys 3D him to get back at him for attacking them on SmackDown, I guess. But whatever happens on SmackDown doesn't actually happen because, who cares? Nobody watches SmackDown because it doesn't matter. So apparently he tombstone or chokeslammed them at SmackDown, and then they got back at him by 3Ding him here. So the babyface is pretty much 3D'd the babyface and let the heel get away, which is just weird. That was just weird booking. Yeah, that was just strange. So all in all, I'd give this probably a 6 out of 10. I thought Seth was great. I thought Kane was funny. It was weird that the Dudley Boys attacked Kane at the end. I feel like they didn't have to do that, but yeah, the whole match, just Bubba and Seth really were fantastic at the beginning, because Bubba's such a bully, and Seth is such a cowering a wimp, but he still feels like he's the man. So it was good. It was a good back and forth. I really want to see Bubba Ray as a heel, but I don't want to see Devon as a heel because I don't think Devon works as a heel anymore. I think that people are too behind the Dudley Boys. However, I do feel like the people would get behind and give him some heat. I feel like they would give Bubba Ray some heat as a heel. So, I don't know. That's just my opinion. But anyway, next on the card, we had the Bella Twins segment outside. When can the Bellas just leave? When can they go and just do Total Divas forever? I'm so tired of Nikki Bella being the center of everything. I'm tired of Brie Bella being stupid. I'm tired of Alicia Fox withering away with them as well. Because I think Alicia actually has some potential. I think she's actually a good worker. But Nikki and Brie, they suck. And Nikki walking around, with her stuck-up attitude. Their attitudes as heels are fine, but they're tweeners. Because the WWE doesn't want to make them full-on heels because Nikki's dating John Cena. That's just the way it is. That's just the truth. So the outside segment consisted of Nikki walking around with a New York Yankees hat on. They get out of their car, and then a car pulls up in front of them, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, excuse me," and then pretty much Team Bad walks out, and Sasha takes off her Yankees hat and throws it just to get some babyface heat, I guess, because apparently Sasha's babyface. And Sasha throws her hat and is like, "No, fuck you," and Nikki's like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe you do that." And you know what? And you know what? And you know what? And then she just leaves, and it's like, okay, great. So then they come out. What was it? Team Bella came out first, I think, and cut a promo. I'm not sure. Let me fast forward and check. I don't remember if it was Team Bella or Team Bad that came out first. I could care less. I liked Sasha. Oh, by the way, Seth got chokeslammed through a table. So that was something. And then Kane stood tall at the end. So there's that. I actually forgot that happened, so that was pretty weird. But anyway, they did their outside segment. The outside segment was pretty stupid. I didn't really care for it. I thought it was kind of forced. Team Bad came out first, and Sasha cut her "I'm from Boston" promo. She cut her "I'm gonna win the championship in NXT Takeover. Then I'm gonna come back and win this championship" promo. Sasha's great. I don't like her as much as I liked her in NXT. I feel like they've taken some shots at her character. They've done some liberties. They've had some liberties with her character that I don't like. I think they've changed it a little bit, and I don't think she's as confident or arrogant as she was, and I don't like that. I don't like smiling, happy face Sasha. I like heel Sasha because she worked better as a heel. Naomi smiling, Tamina smiling, the whole group of heel divas is just giddy and happy and smiling. But Sasha's over. And whether she's over as a face or a heel, she's over, and it's because she can work, and she works her ass off. So the Bellas come out after Sasha cuts her promo, and they basically just say stupid Bella things. And Nikki Bella has probably got the worst promo skills of all time, because all she says is, you know, and you know, and you know. And I think Blackjack, I mentioned Blackjack and Wiser before, Blackjack always says, and you know what, and you know what, and you know what, and he's right, and she does say that, but tonight she didn't say that. She said, and you know, and it's like, say something else, anything else, cut a good promo for God's sake. You're really awful. And Nikki basically has to resort to using the Yankees to cut herself a heel promo because she doesn't know how to do it. So essentially, she tries to get some heel heat in Boston by wearing a Yankees hat, saying, my Yankees are going to make the playoffs and win the World Series and whatever. So basically, it's a stupid promo. And somehow Brie got the mic and talked for whatever godforsaken reason. They let Brie talk, and it was just dumb and annoying. And throughout this whole match, it was a six woman tag team match, and it was so mind-numbingly boring that I wanted to slam my head against a brick wall. I want Sasha as far away from the Bellas as she can get. I want Sasha as far away from Tamina as she can get. Naomi's fine. Alicia's fine. The Bellas and Tamina, please go away. Tamina sucks. She can't wrestle. She can't talk. Tamina's awful. Sasha's great. Naomi's fine. Alicia's fine. The Bellas suck. Please, God, get Sasha away from the Bellas and get Sasha the fuck away from Tamina. Please. Tamina's supposed to be the enforcer, but she's not even scary. I would be more scared of Sasha than Tamina. I don't know. It's so bad. And I'm not trying to make a pun. It's bad. These segments are awful because the Bellas can't talk or cut promos. And it's making Sasha worse. It's making Sasha worse. And Sasha's the best woman in the company right now. She's the best woman wrestler in the whole company. The only other one that could even hold a candle to is probably Asuka, and she's down in NXT right now. Paige is great, Natalya's great, Sasha's great. They're the great workers in the company right now. Charlotte's good. I don't like her character. Becky is great, but I don't like her character either. I liked Becky in NXT, but I hate her on the main roster. So throughout this whole match, what I got was a whole lot of Nikki half-ass selling because, again, it's Blackjack 21. He's a guy that I really respect in wrestling commentary because he does have some very insightful thoughts. Said that Nikki half-asses her matches when she's going to lose, and I completely agreed because Nikki really looked like she was half-assing the whole time. I thought Brie was actually better than Nikki in this match, which is horrible because Brie is awful. The Brie mode thing has to stop. It's excruciating. It's cringeworthy. When she throws her hands in the air and says Brie mode, I almost want to shoot a puppy or something. It's awful. It's so cringeworthy. Anyway, Sasha pretty much gets the win with a bank statement after every single woman comes in and hits her finisher. It's just another Divas match. They all hit their finishers and then they all leave. Nobody gets over. Sasha wins at home, but she's already over. One thing that I wanted to mention about this match, the only thing, was that commentary continuously said the Divas Revolution, first of all, there's no revolution. The Divas Revolution is not a thing. It's not a revolution. You bring up 3 women to wrestle, and you call it a revolution. Nothing changes. They're the same matches. It's the same booking. You don't care about your women. Just because they're getting 2 matches a night does not mean that you care about your women wrestlers. Because first of all, you still call them divas. Second of all, the title doesn't matter. Third of all, you can't decide whether some of them are babyface or heel. There's no revolution. You still book them poorly. There's no revolution. But commentary continuously said, the Divas Revolution started so organically. No, it didn't. It was forced. If it was organic, then Charlotte and Becky would have came out without Stephanie McMahon and said, we're taking Paige's side. Or they wouldn't have even taken a side. Charlotte, Becky, and Paige could have come up and beat the shit out of, or Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha could have came up and beat the shit out of Paige and the Bellas and said, we're here. This is our place now. We're coming from NXT to take this place over. This is a takeover. It works with the theme of NXT taking over. It works with the theme of NXT women being that much better than the women on the main roster. They come up, they kick everybody's ass, and they say, this is our house now. By the way, Paige saying this is my house all the time fucking sucks. It's stupid. She needs to stop saying that. It's too much. That's how you should have booked the women. That's how you should have booked the women. To say, listen, we're here now. It's our time. We're going to kick all of your asses because we're the best. And that would have worked. But instead, you have them form teams, and there's no chemistry with most of them. Team Bad has the most chemistry, but they're the least shown. Even Becky and Charlotte have no chemistry together. I thought it might just be Paige, but Becky and Charlotte are awkward together. They don't fit. They just don't fit. It just frustrates me, and I can't wait until all this team stuff is over and we can just get to wrestling and get to an actual storyline. Paige and Natalya have the best storyline going into Hell in a Cell. Natalya's been there for 3 weeks or 2. That's how bad the Divas Revolution, quote unquote, Divas Revolution has been. That's how bad it's been. So, I give that match a 3. A 3, WWE. Do you hear me? It's bad. Sasha Banks was the only saving grace of this match. Because she was in it. I hope that when Sasha loses to Bayley, she can finally focus on main roster stuff. I hope they can get her character straight, and I hope that she can shine. Because if not, then just send her back to NXT. Just send her back to NXT and let her be herself. Anyway, 3 out of 10. It was bad. I didn't like it. I liked Sasha. That's it. That's it. Next up, we have Summer Rae and Rusev. Another segment that made me want to gouge my eyes out. Summer Rae is boring. Summer Rae is annoying. Summer Rae sucks. She could have been something if they would have let her wrestle, but they don't. They don't. So Summer Rae is now nothing, except for just a pretty face for Rusev. For Ruru, I should say. Ruru is what she called him all night, which was pretty funny. But I don't like Summer Rae. Nor do I believe anything that she does. It just all seems so fake and so forced, and I just want it to end. I want Rusev to get a good feud. I want Rusev to get something that he can sink his teeth into, not just Summer Rae. And Dolph Ziggler wasn't even a part of the feud tonight. It was just Rusev and Summer Rae talking, which made me think, I don't care. Summer Rae went out there and proposed to Rusev, which I thought was funny. Of course, most women or feminists will probably think it was sexist. I thought it was funny, seeing as how he's Bulgarian and he is the alpha male of everything or whatever. I thought it was funny. I thought his reaction was funny. He said, "Sure, I'll marry you, but I need to win a title first." Which leads me to believe that Rusev will not be winning a title for a very long time. Which makes me sad. It really makes me sad because Rusev is withering away. And he could be, not even could be, he is one of the better, I just saw Brie do Brie mode. I'm honestly going to kick a child. Rusev is one of the better guys they had. And they fucked him by giving him a stupid relationship comedy gimmick with Dolph Ziggler. And Dolph Ziggler hasn't been over in a while. To me, he's not even over anymore. Dolph is just kind of boring. So is this feud. Please, get Rusev as far away from Summer Rae as you can, and Dolph. If you want to bring Lana back, bring her back with Rusev. Because it's the only way she is ever going to do anything. Rusev is a face now. To me. Rusev is a face. Because Lana screwed him over. Has been making out with her new boyfriend right in front of his face. It's hashtag poor Rusev. It's just, I mean, I feel bad for the guy. I want Rusev to get an opportunity to be great. And he's not. He's just not getting that opportunity. So, next up, we had the best segment of the night. Not the match of the night, but the best segment of the night, which was Cena versus Big E. So, Cena's music hits, and I immediately let out a sigh because I know how this is going to end. John Cena is going to F you somebody, and it's going to be over. And he's going to win. Because Cena wins. Lol. However, there were rumors that Dolph Ziggler was going to come out and take Cena's challenge. And, of course, the commentary team had to consistently and constantly say that all night. And it just, you knew he wasn't going to challenge for it. You knew it wasn't going to be him. Person that I was hoping it would be, Carlito. I'll tell you why. There were reports that Carlito was in talks to potentially come back with the WWE not too long ago. The WWE and Carlito had a weird relationship. It was kind of good one minute, bad the next. But Carlito could work, put on good matches. He was funny, had a funny character. So, I saw on Twitter today that it was the 11-year anniversary of Carlito's debut was last night on Raw. He debuted and won the U.S. title in his first match. So I said, you know what would be great? If they let Carlito come back and win the title off of Cena. To reestablish Carlito. To let him come back and be somebody. But no, of course. We got New Day, which was just as good. And worth it. Because New Day was great. New Day was great. They come out, they hold Dolph Ziggler's head up, and they say, "Oh, you thought Dolph Ziggler was going to challenge? No, we're challenging." What was that? What the fuck? Sorry, I've got the Divas match on right now, and Brie Bella just did a tackle, and I couldn't tell what the fuck it was. It wasn't a move. It looked like she tried to do a spine buster, but she didn't get her off the ground. She just kind of tackled her. It looked really bad. Anyways, we're not talking about trash anymore. We're talking about the New Day. Come out to Dolph Ziggler's music, and they hold Dolph Ziggler's head up, and they say, "Oh, you thought he was challenging? Well, he's not. It's going to be one of us." But who? Who? They said who a lot. They said it in a really high-pitched voice, whoo! And it was gold. I died laughing at it. I thought it was hilarious. Then, they make a Tootsie Pop reference. These guys are golden. And truthfully, I think it's Xavier Woods. I think Xavier Woods is the guy here. I think he is the best. Because I think all this stuff is his idea. I really do. I think he has taken it into his own hands, and it's his idea. To do some of these things that they do and to say some things that they say, I think it's Xavier Woods' idea, and I think that that's why I love Xavier Woods so much. He's great. He's absolutely great. So, anyway, Big E challenges John Cena for the U.S. title. Would have been really great to see Big E win, because it would have established Big E as a star, a potential star for the future. It would have established the New Day as arrived. They've arrived. You know, they've arrived in the tag team scene. But for them to cross over and take away a belt from John Cena, then they would have really arrived. But of course, John Cena doesn't put anybody over, especially not black people. So John Cena, LOLCena wins, and he beats Big E. The reason I say especially not black people is not because I think John Cena is racist. It's because I think the WWE is racist. I'm white, if you couldn't tell. But I definitely think that there's some racism in the WWE. I definitely think that they have a hint of it. I don't. It's because no black people get over. The New Day got over on accident. They weren't supposed to get over, but they did. So anyway, LOL Cena wins. He beats the reigning tag team champion Big E, and it was a good match. But all John Cena's matches suck because you know who's gonna win. That's why all of his matches are boring. That's why people don't like him. It's because you know he's gonna win every time. So who cares? The main event was just a big waste of time. Who cares? John Cena wins. Everybody goes home happy. Dolph Ziggler comes out for the save when New Day start attacking John after the match is over. Did somebody else come out? I don't even remember if anybody else came out for the save. I don't even remember. I'm gonna check right now. I'm gonna skip to the very end of Raw because I was still in the Divas match, for God's sake. I'm gonna skip to the very end and make sure, because I don't think anybody came out afterwards. But I just want to be positive. I know that Ziggler came out. I feel like the Dudleys came out. I could be wrong though, so I'm actually just gonna check really fast. But this match, I mean, it was a typical John Cena match. It was a couple of, weird moves, looked bad. I don't know. It was just a John Cena match. The Dudleys did come out at the end. I thought so. But the New Day ended up actually overtaking everybody, and they stand tall at the end of the night, but without the U.S. title. So, yeah. It was just kind of meh. The last match, it was just another John Cena match. John Cena can put people over after the match, but he can't put people over during. I don't know. I enjoyed the match because it was Big E, and I really enjoy watching Big E a lot of the time because Big E is funny. He knows how to work the crowd, and I think he does a good job. But at the same time, it was just another John Cena match, and LOL Cena wins. So this match I would give a 5 out of 10. You know what? I'll give the match a 4 out of 10, but I'll give the segment before when the New Day came out an 8 because it was funny. And I smiled, and I actually enjoyed Raw at that point, which is something that doesn't happen a lot. So that was it. That was Raw. The Dudleys came out. New Day beat up the Dudleys. They beat up Dolph Ziggler. They beat up John Cena. And then they danced and danced and danced at the end, celebrated with the trombone. And that was it. that was it. And they're dancing right now, and I'm about to start laughing again because they're great. So yeah, that was Raw. It was a good show. Was it great? No. Was it anything we haven't seen before? No, not really. It was just Raw. But it was acceptable. It was fun at points. It had me entertained. So, my final verdict for Monday Night Raw is a 7 out of 10. It was a good show. Wasn't a great show. It wasn't a bad show. It was a good show. So I'm giving Raw a 7 out of 10 this week. Make sure you check back next week. I will be reviewing Raw. I will be reviewing Hell in a Cell. I will be reviewing NXT TakeOver as well. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think, what you guys thought about Raw. Let me know what you guys thought about Raw. And I will see you guys next week. I'm out.